Good morning. Saturday, November the 23rd, 58 days until Donald Trump's second inauguration, and much to discuss this morning about how that new administration is taking shape. We've got 9 new cabinet and administration picks, all of them announced in the last 24 hours, just since last night. Among them, Scott Bessent, a billionaire hedge fund manager and a major Trump campaign fundraiser for Treasury Secretary. Dave Weldon, a doctor and former congressman who's endorsed the debunked idea that vaccines can cause autism, to head the Centers for Disease Control. Scott Turner, a former pro football player and motivational speaker, to head the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Sebastian Gorka, remember him? A conservative commentator who's been accused of having ties to neo-Nazi groups and who was forced out of the first Trump administration as a top counterterrorism official. But perhaps the most telling of Donald Trump's new appointments, and one of the most consequential, is this man, Russell Vought. He's the co-author of, hope you're sitting down for this, Project 2025. He's going to lead the Office of Management and Budget. It was only a few months ago when Project 2025 was so toxic to the Trump's presidential bid that he and the members of his campaign were forced to deny any connection to it repeatedly. In July, Trump himself posted on Truth Social, quote, "I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them." Well, that politically expedient lie was repeated by Trump campaign officials so that the deeply unpopular Project 2025 wouldn't derail Trump's presidential campaign. But now that Trump has been elected, he's freely appointing the architects of Project 2025, people who already have deep ties to Trump, to key cabinet-level posts. Case in point, the aforementioned Russell Vought, who was just announced last night as Trump's pick to be the director of the Office of Management and Budget, a role that he held in the first Trump administration. Vought is a prominent Christian nationalist. He's considered a lead architect of Project 2025. He's the author of one of its key chapters, Chapter 2, about how to enhance the powers of the executive office, in large part by dismantling the administrative state, slashing budgets, and eliminating the independence of certain regulatory agencies. He's also been in charge of preparing a secretive playbook for the first 180 days of Trump's second term, which involves overseeing executive orders that the incoming administration could begin to implement on day one. All of those plans are in service of making the powers of the presidency yet stronger and more centralized, and it has earned Vought the backing of Trump and some of his staunchest allies. Stephen Miller praised Vought as a transformative pick for OMB director. He also described Vought as, quote, "the guy for the last 4 years who's been developing the plan to take down the deep state." Miller, as you know, is another supporter of Project 2025 who's set to join the incoming administration. This time, he's going to be the deputy chief of staff for policy and as Trump's Homeland Security advisor. A group that Miller founded, it's called America First Legal, served on Project 2025's advisory board before it jumped ship this summer when the public began closely scrutinizing Project 2025. Besides Vought and Miller, a handful of other key Project 2025 figures have been chosen by Trump to join his administration. There's Brendan Carr, Trump's pick to be the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, who wrote the chapter in Project 2025 about the FCC. One of the first people Trump appointed to his new administration was also a Project 2025 contributor, Tom Homan, who will serve as the so-called border czar, expected to lead the mass deportation effort. He was also the acting director of ICE, who helped carry out the family separation policy during the previous Trump administration. John Ratcliffe and Pete Hoekstra are also listed as contributors to Project 2025. They've been tapped as CIA director and ambassador to Canada, respectively. An incoming White House press secretary, Carolyn Levitt, appeared in a training video associated with Project 2025 before she began working for the Trump campaign. NBC News is also reporting that Trump's transition team is utilizing the extensive personnel database created and vetted by Project 2025, which has been referred to as a conservative LinkedIn, to look for potential hires to fill lower-level positions. Plus, Kevin Roberts, the actual president of the Heritage Foundation, which authored Project 2025, has called Vice President-elect J.D. Vance, quote, one of the leaders, if not the leader, of our movement, end quote. Apparently, Project 2025 just isn't that nuclear anymore. Despite all of the Trump team's denials and attempts to distance themselves from it, the architects of Project 2025 will soon be inside the White House.